A new day, a new adventure begins. First time on the new kayak area at North Pine Dam. As you can see, conditions are spectacular. We have bait fish flicking around in amongst the weed beds. Glassy conditions. Perfect. Diving lure. The diving lure that I have on at the moment is a lovely new Bagley diver. Giving it a swim today for the first time. Dragging it through what looks to be some schools. Oh, there we go. First fish on the diver. First fish. There's the launch site just over there. There we go. What have we got for our first customer of the day? Trolling around in 8 meters of water. Fish showing on the sounder at about 5 to 6. We've travelled about 100 meters. The lure got smacked. There it is. First fish of the day. What have we got? Haven't got heavy drag set on this one at the moment. So I don't think it's a huge fish for the calibre of the fish that live in this dam, but I'm hoping it's a nice one to start us off for the day. This is, however, a fairly heavy rod. This is the Okuma Ceros, and this particular one is the 3 to 6 kilo rod. Fairly heavy stick, so to be putting a bend in this one, it's a decent fish. There we go, he's hooked sideways. He sideswiped that one. There we go, fish number 1 for the day. There's the ramp just back over there. I reckon there's some fish around, fellas.
Yeah, well, it seems like there is.
There we go. He's not huge, but he liked that little trolling lure, the little Bagleys. I saw him on the sounder and I thought, oh, this looks too good to not troll through. And there we go. Bass number 1 for the day. Love it. Only a little fella, but it's a good start.
Oh, it's the first time I've seen.
See you, mate.
Looks like an EP.
They do look very much like EPs. As soon as I put the rod in the different holder, off it goes. Got another one, Ads. The old rod in the rod holder trick. I just switched it from one side of the kayak to the other, slowed down to start casting, and as soon as I slowed down, it got whacked. There's a lesson in there. Maybe I was trolling a little bit too quickly. And another fairly small fish for you in here, but there's fish in here that'll eat this one for breakfast. They're loving this beautiful metallic purple and yellow contraption from Bagley's. Beautiful. It's a good way to end up spiked with a through the finger. Take your time, do it right. Live to fight another day. Speaking of which, see you, mate. My lovely and effective metallic purple Bagley to a deep water snag. I've switched over to the same lure but in a silver, so we'll see if it proves equally effective. It's always a bummer to lose a lure, especially one that's catching fish, but you won't catch fish with them at home in the tackle box. They've got to be in the water to catch your fish, and unfortunately from time to time you lose them. Yep. Yep. I was winding it back to the boat after I'd finished a troll run, and he hit on the wind. this whole cove seems like a bit of a basin, and there seems to be fish holding through most of it. This feels like a better fish. You're not going to believe the size of this thing, Ads. Come and see this. Kimbo, come and see the size of this. Holy snapping ducks. Have a go at the size of that behemoth. Holy wow. I was just finishing my trolling run. I thought I'll just wind this little Bagley's diving lure in. And just as I started to crank it back in, look at that. North Pine Dam, home of some huge bass. I already knew that, but I wasn't prepared to see that. I had the 3 to 6 kilo rod in action, and I knew it was a decent fish by the bend in the rod, but dear oh dear, I wasn't expecting to see something of that proportions. Look at that.
He's a horse.
Look at that.
Jesus. That or that.
53.
Yeah, that's my PB there.
53 centimetres of beautiful North Pine Dam bass. Yep, she's kicking. She's happy. There we go, we've given her a good big swim because we had a bit of time out of the water to take a few pictures. 53 centimetres approximately. It's a bit hard to tell on a kayak with the brag mat, but she's well and truly ready to go. She's going to get bigger again. See you, big girl. Off she goes. Down to the depths. Well done, sir. First ever bass. Couple of attempts. It's come out to North Pine Dam, the home of bass.
Home of big bass, apparently. This is about half the size of Rocket's bass.
Everybody's got to start somewhere, mate. Ready, set, go. Kym's in the background. Kym, get out of the background. Kym. Some good fish showing up on the sounder just coming through now. 10 metres of water and the Oh yes, good hit, good hit. That seems like a solid fish. That's the 3 to 6 kilo rod. Yes. We seem like we're absolutely out in the middle of nowhere here, but we just jumped up from about 15 metres of water to about 8 metres of water. So I don't know if we're shelving or if there's a bit of a pinnacle out here in the middle. So I just noted that there was some fish showing up on the sounder, and I was trolling along the same silver Bagley diving lure that caught me my big bass earlier in the day, and it got belted. The bass certainly wanted it. I'm just trying to steer my kayak so I don't get tangled with my other line that's also trolling out the back. Digging deep near the kayak, which is what bass tend to do after they've had a couple of tough runs. Yeah, it's a good fish. Good fish. In the net. Very happy with that. Look at that. What a cracker. Good solid North Pine Dam bass. That's that little Bagley diver. They're loving that. See you, mate. Thank you. There we go. On the tail spinner. Just in that same area where I picked that fish up on the trawl. And that's a catfish. Maybe that's what the bass are feeding on. You cheeky little critter. You're not what I'm chasing. Get off. So we're going to reverse our direction of travel on that troll and see if we can't troll back over that area and reproduce that result, and then do it again. About just under 7 metres of water, fish showing within the last 2 metres of the bottom of the water column, and if we're on the right track we should be just about to come back into a drop off where the water goes back down into about 10 metres of water. But this is where the fish were holding, just in this little plateau before we go back down into the deeper water. Yep, so here we go, we're going back down to 8.2, 8.3, 8.5, 8.9, okay. So we were definitely in the right area. We just went back over the top of them and they didn't hit the lure that time. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep going back and we're going to go back the other way. See if there might be one that's even bigger sitting in that area. Oh, there we go, just as I'm winding it in. So just that bit of action, not a big fish this time, it might even be a little catfish that was sitting on the edge of the school. maybe a small bass. It would indeed be very interesting if we managed to catch a small brim out here in the middle of North Pine Dam. There we go, definitely the bass that we thought it might be. There he is. Just goes to show you, you think about your fishing, what's getting you results, and try and replicate those results. There he is, another lovely North Pine Dam bass. That's the kayak launch area just over there. See you, mate. Okay, so I've reset my troll. I'm aiming up for the, I don't have a GPS on my little basic sounder, so I'm just sort of using some landmarks to try and figure out where I was heading. And I'm looking to go back over that same area. Had the bit of a change in depth contour that was holding the fish. So we're now in the 10-metre zone, and we know that the fish were sort of on that area that came up from 10 up to 8 and then about 6 or 7 metres. So that's that area that I'm looking to target. Strangely enough today, that's twice now that I've slowed the kayak and started to wind in a trolled lure, and the fish have hit as I've started to wind in the trolled lure. It might be a sign either that I'm trolling a little bit too quickly, or it's just that change in action that's triggered the bite. Because I'm also getting hits just on the normal troll, so sometimes it's just that change in action that does the job. Okay, we're approaching the towards the far end of the area where we're allowed to access. Coming back into the sort of depth that the bass have been holding, which has been the 6 to 10 metre sort of depth. So the trolling lure's out, camera's on, buckle up. See how we go. There we go. Fish on. That didn't take long, just a little troll along this edge and we're on. Just in that depth that I was talking about, between sort of 6 to 10 metres. Just a nice gentle troll. Not a big fish this time, not a big fish by any means. But shows we're in the right area. And doing the right things. Just back that drag off now that we've got him up out of any structure that might be down there. And there he is, a nice little bass. Once again, the silver Bagley diver has done the job. Good stuff. Let's get that hook out of his gob. Send him on his way. See you, mate. Yep. Just slow rolling a jig spin. Bit of lift and wind action. Through what I saw some squirrels on the sounder and I thought, there's got to be the opportunity there. And yes, there was. Here we go. So there we go, the little bass, and he has absolutely inhaled that 3-inch minnows in Gold Rush and the TT jig spin. That's a 1/4 TT headlocks HD, and he liked that. Just hopping in a slow roll, and he said, "Thank you very much." Got that out of his gob. That's the lure. Did a good job on him. Thanks, mate. See you later. Once again, plenty of action on the sounder. 7 metres of water. Plenty of activity showing at around about 6. So let's see if something jumps on. Anything through from 4 to 6 metres. Right in the strike zone for the lure, and about where I've seen activity coming through and getting strikes before. So yep, there it is. There it is. There it is. Right on cue. Beautiful. That's what we like to see. Thinking about your fishing. Learning from what's going on. And putting it into action. Now, what have we got? Is it a thumping big bass? Or is it a stinky slimy catfish? Could even be a yellow belly. All 3 of those species do live in here. Let's see what we've got. Let's back that drag off a little bit. Now that we've got him up off the bottom and away from any of those trees that might be down there. This is the silver Bagley lure that I've had on for most of the day. I chose this lure because it represents what I think a bony brim would look like to a fish. As to if that means anything to a fish or if it's just my interpretation, I don't know. But they seem to like it. Come on, mate, in you come. Hey, good on ya. Let's get this kayak moving before we end up on the shore. It's nice of him to spit the lure out into the net before I have to do it for him. There we go. That lovely little okuma Ceros 3 to 6 kilo rod. Did the job. Steady on, boy. Steady on. Lovely. Off you go, mate. See ya. So there's a better look at that beautiful Bagley diving lure that's been doing the job for me today. I'll put the full details in the video description. But as you can see, lovely attention to detail in the lures. It's copped a bit of a hiding today. It's caught many fish, but it's swimming straight out of the packet. Beautiful patterns. As I said, I picked it because it looks a bit like a bony brim, and obviously the fish think it looks pretty good too. Here we go. This is more like it. Here we go. Coming into 10 metres of water. Fish holding between 6 and 8 metres of water. Can we expect to see the rod buckle soon? Doesn't happen every time, but when it does, it puts a smile on my face. Here we go. 7 metres of water, fish showing at 4 to 5. We're right in the strike zone. Hold on tight. Yep, right on cue. Ho ho ho! Hit like a freight train. Oh, it's bounced off. Oh no, it's back. Oh no, it's off again. Oh no, it's back. What's going on? That's a very strange fight. Very strange fight indeed. 3 times I thought I lost that fish. I don't know if maybe I dropped it a couple of times and a different fish picked it up, or if it's just been swimming with me. Very strange indeed. But it hit like an absolute freight train. Oh yeah, good fish. Good fish. Whopper. Look at this one. Ha ha. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you come to North Pine Dam at Petrie, North Brisbane. Look at that slab. That's why we get up in the dark. That's why we spend hundreds, thousands of dollars on kayaks and fishing gear. That's why we do it. There we go. So she's just a lazy 51 centimetres. Beautiful big bass. That's why we come to North Pine Dam. Look at that. What a beast. Now it's time for her to go back and get even bigger. You ready, big girl? That's all good. She's gone. She's gone, and she was happy. Looking back now at the strange fight that I just had with that bass, I think what was happening during the fight was that the bass was going through treetops, and that was the strange feelings that I could get, was feeling through the line and through the rod. When I thought that I was losing the bass, I was losing contact with it because it was going through the dead trees. Because when I had a look at my leader, it was all scuffed up at various points along the leader. So I think that's what it was that I was getting dragged through some dead timber. So yeah, very strange. And in the end I was lucky to land the fish. The 15-pound platypus stealth leader fluorocarbon did the job for me. It's now a much shorter leader than it was, so hopefully it's not put to that same test again. But I'm about to retrace my steps, so who knows?